got this up. I'd like to say good morning to everyone. I am Calvin Girl. I did get up this morning, like everyone else. Hello. Good. Calvin Girl. Okay. Ward 4 City Council. I did get up like everyone else for this job interview. There's only one job position for Ward 4, and I'm here. As far as Ms. Bowser, I guess she doesn't or isn't interested in her job position here. However, as far as the organization I visited, was it Latino? Was it Black? It was citywide. It was housing. I went to many meetings with TENAC, Mr. McGrath, also the Office of the Tenant Council, and housing is a big problem for all here. Blacks, Latinos, minorities. And we need to bring more housing, affordable housing in the city. And that's what I'm advocating. I was on the Mayor's Blue Ribbon Commission on housing. I'm president of the Tacoma Civic Association. Another organization I did visit, considered Latino organization, but our schools need development. The chancellor needs to give us a 5-year plan. Everybody has a job performance rating. The chancellor does not. Thank you very much. Calvin Gurley, Ward 4 City Council.
Hello, I'm Baruti Jahi, affectionately known to many in the community as simply Jahi. There's not a corner in Ward 4 where you don't see a Jahi sign. And if you don't see a Jahi sign on that corner, look around the corner, you'll see a Jahi sign. The movement is steadily building. We're steadily building momentum, and we look forward to April 3rd when we're going to make a tremendous statement. I'm a PhD in public policy from Howard University, a community organizer primarily responsible for stopping the 2 Walmarts a mile and a half in Ward 4, a mile and a half away from each other in Ward 4. But more importantly, I'm here as a public servant to not only serve the Latino community, but to serve all of Ward 4. I recently met with Mr. Franklin Garcia of the DC Latino Caucus, and we discussed some of the pertinent issues in the Latino community, locally as well as nationally. And those issues center around educational opportunities for kids of illegal immigrants, supporting legislation that supports Latino communities like the DC, like the DREAM Act, and also creating job opportunities for Latino families and Latino citizens in the District of Columbia. What we have to do in DC is engage the DC Latino community in the democratic process, because all politics are local. And the more you actively are involved in the political process through voter registration and education, the better it will be. Thank you.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Me llamo Max, yo soy un educador, un ex comisario y un dueño de un pequeño empresario. Pero con respecto a los migrantes, I know there are some folks who can't understand. I will tell you a bit about myself and so where I come from, and I'll answer the question as well. I began my career in social services for Latinos. I worked in immigration rights for 20 years ago. 15 years ago, I came to the city to be an educator. 10 years ago, I founded my organization, Kid Power, which works with 350 young people here in the district, including 70 Latinos in all parts of the city. My concerns are the concerns of the Latino community, because my fight has been the social justice fight from day one. I will commit myself to be your champion, and I have met with many organizations, including my own, which is a Latino serving organization. I am very good friends with Lori Kaplan at the Latin American Youth Center. I work with Centralia, with Mary Center, with Ayuda, with the Office of Latino Affairs. I consider myself to be, very embedded in this community. And the concerns that I've heard are threefold. First is immigration rights. No human being is illegal. No one is illegal. We will never allow deportations in the city. Every family will be kept whole, and I will fight for those rights. On the education front, we need to pass the DC DREAM Act. It is imperative that young people have the pathways to success. That the schools, the community schools, provide all the resources that our parents and young people need to thrive and prosper in the city. And finally, on the economic front, we need to build small businesses. The Latino businesses are the backbone of this district. And I will make sure that the small businesses are supported, not the corporate businesses. And there will be vocational opportunities and all the opportunities to grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, you just moved into the next question, which has to do with the DREAM Act, and so we'll give you a pass. And the question is, the DREAM Act is very important to the Latino community and the immigrant community generally. And so the question is, what would you do, or how would you work with the immigrant community in DC to get the DREAM Act enacted?
Okay,
well, that would be, the question should be addressed first to Mr. Burley.
I support, thank you. Everybody can hear me. I support the DREAM Act. And I think that it's a shame that it has not gone as far as it has right now. What we need to do is bring more Latinos into the group. A lot are not knowledgeable of it, or they are just trying to stay away from that movement because perhaps of their status, and they don't want to be involved because they bring light or attention to them and their family. And we should not really divide any parents from their children. So I do support the DREAM Act.
Why don't we just move down this way so it's not so complicated?
Many of the young people that I work with in my organization are undocumented, do not have legal status. And you see the difference with young people who understand their pathway to success and for those who don't see the future. If you can't have a pathway to citizenship, a pathway to higher education, you're going to get involved in negative behaviors. You're going to get involved in crew activity. You're going to get involved in vandalism. You're getting involved in truancy, dropout, unemployment. We need to make sure that young people have definitive goals for the future. And I will make the DC DREAM Act the highest priority. And we need to make sure that those who have access to the community college, to UDC, that UDC and the CCDC are user-friendly for the Latino community. Because they're not right now. They don't have programs that are bilingual and bicultural that truly speak to young people and that are creating pathways for high school students, for junior high students to get a higher education. So I will absolutely fight for the passage of the DC DREAM Act. Thank you.
Yes, I would fight for the passage of DC DREAM Act. In fact, I've worked on these issues on the national level because I'm the point person for immigration issues for my union in the legal department. And it's through education, letting people know exactly what's in the DREAM Act and mobilizing groups who may believe that they have different interests, but letting them know how giving opportunity to all youth, including Latino youth, are important to the benefit of the entire city. And these are young people who only know the United States. They're here because their parents brought them here, and this is where they grew up. This is home for them. So we want to give them opportunities. I have to say, one part of the National DREAM Act with regard to military service, I'm not that high on because, you know, that promotes people dying and conquering other lands. But we're very much in support of the DREAM Act, and we'll I would, as a council member, have a public service, not just within the council, but public awareness so that people understand what it does and why we're for it. So that's my answer on DREAM Act.
Everybody here supports the DREAM Act because it's necessary, it's important, it's vital. I'm a product of the legal immigrants. My mom was born in Jamaica, my dad was born in Cuba. I was born here in New York City. It's a very, in the country, in New York City, but I've been in Washington, D.C. over 20 years. It's a very important piece of legislation because when you create opportunities, you create strength in numbers. The Latino community and various communities throughout the district need to be more actively involved in the political process. If you want direct as the DREAM Act, we need to encourage our young people and our people on a whole to vote. The more voting representation, the more likely we'll have somebody on DC Council, and the likelihood we'll have legislation like the DREAM Act. It's very important for the continuous development of our city, of our country, and globally as well. We need to support people who support us. Of course, Latino community always supports the best interests of our city and our country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For those of you who have just arrived, we are here with the Ward 4 candidates that are here to answer questions. We have a distinguished panel here. They've been addressing the questions, so welcome for your new arrivals here. The next question deals with Latino representation in the City Council. It is the responsibility of the community itself first. If they want to be in the City Council, they're going to have to be active. Some of the candidates already have mentioned that. It's our responsibility to take the initiative, but we could always use a little help. It's just like we in the District of Columbia are asking the American people to help us get representation in the Congress of the United States. And so we, Latinos in the District of Columbia, are asking our fellow residents